Without independent film festivals like this, it wouldn't be, there wouldn't be an opportunity for filmmakers like myself and for Ben Youssef and the entire cast and crew to be able to present our films to the world and to give us a head start out in order to get the film out there, not only to audiences here in Los Angeles, but we've already screened throughout the United States. We're on to festivals into Canada and Europe throughout the year. And a festival like this really gives us a great launching pad as a West Coast premiere. And again, Henry and everyone in the festival has really done a phenomenal job in getting the word out to the LA Weekly, and not just our film, but the many other short films and feature films throughout the week. If you have time within the next 11 days to check out other films, please do so. They're screened here and throughout the downtown area, and I've seen many of the films already, and they're excellent, so please do so. Before I turn the mic over and ask some Q&As, I wanted to quickly thank the entire cast and crew of the film. Ben Youssef and myself. Believe it or not, but the many people that are here in front of us that are part of the cast are only a very small snippet. There is a total of 37 speaking parts in our film, and there's countless number of people that were involved in behind the scenes. There's 254 members of the end credits that you saw, and many other people who are not credited to make this film possible. This film started as an idea that Ben Youssef and myself began as a story that we kicked back and forth at Gold's Gym in Venice about 5 years ago. And from that, Ben and I have been very, very fortunate in that we were able to take an idea, a thought, and bring a collection of tremendous artists, filmmakers, actors, and people that work in film, behind the scenes, and in a place like Los Angeles, we're able to collect an amazingly talented group of people to take a dream and put it into reality. So I wanted to thank the 254 people in the end credits, plus many others that are not present in those credits that made the film possible, and to thank many of the audience members who are part of the cast and crew for coming out tonight and supporting and for spreading the word. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll shut up in 1 second. In one last thought, Ben and I wanted to take a moment to thank two people in particular. There are many people to thank because this film is not possible without the people that helped, but two people in particular made it possible. Both of them are very, very quiet and they hate the limelight, so I'm not going to ask you to stand up. But Anna Mulhern gave us the injection to be able to move forward as one of our main producers, so thank you, Anna, very much. The second person that Ben and I would like to thank is Mr. Anthony Rudenko, Tony Rudenko, who has worn many hats in this film. He's not only one of our co-producers, but he's also our cinematographer, and for lack of a better term, he's our post-production genius that basically put the film on its legs and made all the functioning or unfunctioning parts function and put it all together. So Ben and I wanted to say thank you very much to Anthony for making the film possible. Without his help and his dedication for a total of 4 years, that's correct, 4 years. Without Tony, this film would never would have happened, so thank you, Tony. And now I'll pass the microphone off, and again, thank you to the tremendous cast. I mean, we really we're fortunate, Ben and I are super fortunate because had we not lived in LA for the last 15 years, we never could have possibly collected such a tremendous cast of dedicated members of the Screen Actors Guild and members of the craft. Many of them work in theater and in film and television, so you saw it, proofs in the pudding. I mean, they're just phenomenal. They took a simple story and they made it super complex and dynamic by the performances, so thank you to the cast.
I'll just begin by saying that obviously this is one of the favorite films of our programming staff. And personally, what I liked about the film, it was a political thriller, but you also tackled big themes, like what is more important, family, friends, religion, country, and you did this in the context of a suspenseful film. But I want to ask the first question is about the ending. So your very elegant ending where the character played by Ben is singing in a mosque and you're intercutting as he gets on his final ride. And I wanted to know what the inspiration was for that particular scene.
Since the mic's in my hand, I'll just answer Ben and I. Ben and I are huge fans of Francis Ford Coppola, and we love The Godfather. And when we were discussing the film, it had such a complex structure of so many different characters that we created. And we wanted to find an elegant way of having all those characters kind of come together and ahead at the end. So we basically ripped off the end of the Godfather. But we did a very interesting thing that Coppola, not even in his great genius, could have thought of. If you think about what our ending does versus what the Godfather does, it's very, very different in reality. A concept that came from Andrei Tarkovsky, which is a Russian filmmaker who passed in 84, 86, very esoteric, but if you go to film school, you know who he is. Tarkovsky functions in deep time in a lot of his films, so he has two different things occurring in two different time frames overlapping. While Ben's character Ali is doing the call to prayer, which is in deep time, which is basically that morning of, we're watching real time, which is him getting into the van. And those two timelines crisscross. So Coppola didn't figure that out, but Tarkovsky did. So I took both those ideas with Ben, and we kind of commingled them to create an elegant ending that I don't believe has ever been done before. So it's an interesting crossing of time.
Congratulations. Who else has a question? Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Okay, right up here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I was just wondering, what was the budget on your, film? The budget.
The budget was just under $1 million. Much of it was deferred, and we were able to do that by having our cast and crew basically do something that was unique. We created a company where everyone essentially is a member of that company. So instead of having like 2 or 3 people produce the movie, we essentially have 200 people produce the movie. So that is why we're able to make a very sophisticated film over a long period of time into a dynamic Hollywood-style film with relatively low budget. Compared to obviously like 20, 30, $50 million, we did a movie that was just under $1 million. So it is possible if you have talented people that can come together and talented cast that can come together and basically take your time to make a film.
Thank you.
Who else has a question? Please, go ahead right here.
Yeah, I'd just really like to know what your background is. Did you grow up in, what's your connection to Algeria? How did...
I'm going to actually pass the mic off to Ben to answer that question, otherwise I'll talk on that. So excuse me one second. How much come over to the center? Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Ben Youssef?
I'd like to when we discussed the story back then at Gold Gym, and one of our inspiration was the movies in the 70s, like Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, and City of Lynette movies, and The Godfather, and Taxi Driver. And as a result of that, we talked about that kind of, style of filming. But then the biggest movie that we actually a big fan of was The Battle of Algiers. It's a beautiful movie. And then Giovanni suggested, he said, we should call the story You're Algerian. And I love that. That's my favorite movie. So we should call the movie Algerian. And brings authenticity to it. Just like the call to prayer, it's a real thing that I do. So he wanted to bring as much authenticity and originality to the project instead of making it a Hollywood, Bollywood movie. That was the story behind Algerian. And my father, we were lucky to have my father help us to get there and get to locations. And the city that you saw in the movie, Gardaya, that city, nobody have ever filmed there in history, by the way. Yeah, it's a very exclusive city. It's like an Amish town. So it's very close, and we were lucky that we were able to shoot there. So.
There were so many different layers in that story, between telling the story like of an immigrant and the terrorist plot and everything going on. I was just wondering, what was your, the genesis idea, the core concept of, oh my God, let's make this movie? And how did that evolve and expand to all these different aspects that you have in the movie?
Okay. That's a complicated thing. Simply put, Ben came to me many years ago after 9/11. I witnessed 9/11 in New York, and it affected me greatly personally. It affected Ben as well as an American Muslim for obvious reasons. After that, he picked up on an idea, a story about doing a film about the 20th hijacker who never got on the plane. Why didn't he get on the plane? Eventually, that didn't work out for a lot of different reasons, so he never kicked me different ideas. But the core center story was a sleeper cell Muslim terrorist living in the United States who goes on a mission and for some reason doesn't do the mission. So that was the core of the idea, the inception. And from that, we basically spent over a year plugging away at it and adding different layers and layers and layers to make it function with as many cast members. The circles that you see Harry Lennox doing it, and it's not a Muslim idea. If anyone here follows the Confucian ideology of religion, it's the centerpiece for their religious beliefs, those concentric circles. So taking that idea and manifesting it on top of not a Muslim ideology, but a global ideology of a centerpiece of the human soul spreading out as ripples. Taking that made sense to our film, with Ben's character Ali having all these connections to different people. And from there, we kind of started stitching together the script and the film. If there's not another question at the moment, I'm going to pass the mic quickly down the aisle to each one of the actors, just for them to present themselves to the audience. And I'm going to grab your question 1 second as soon as you're next. So you'll hear each of the actors' names and the part they played, and a little tidbit about their character and how they prepared for it. This is Zuhair Haddad, excuse me, my favorite of all favorites Jordanian.
My name is Zuhair Haddad. I did the character of Muhammad. Actually, the film, before anybody thought of it, I think Ben approached me. We were doing some voiceover ADR, I think, for the Body of Lies. Yeah. And he said, Zuhair, I have a character for you. And I was like, I heard this so many times. All the actors, everybody writing the script and says, well, I have a great idea. This. And I said, okay, let me have the script, let me read it. And I didn't think that Ben writes or something, but he's a good actor, Then I read the script and said, oh my God, it's probably the first terrorist movie I've never done a terrorist character. I do not fit the prototype or for a terrorist. I've always played a general, a doctor, a prosecutor, and for example, in the JAD, maybe on the agency, I was General Zabi, the Pakistani intelligence officer. But this is the first time I played in a terrorist movie, but I played a good guy though. So I was stunned. Saeed is played so many terrorist movies. He's the ultimate terrorist over here. Here we go.
He was in Green Zone too, by the way. He was in Green Zone.
I'm Saeed Faraj. I play father. Before I start giving how I went into all this scenario, yes, I have 90 films on credit, and 75 of them are terrorists, and the rest are undecidable. What are they, without a name or identity? So I decided from now on, since 2014, that is going to be my last film. So after that, I'm putting 2 things in my contract. I'm not going to do a terrorist role, and I'm not going to die at the end of the movie. It didn't happen yet. But let's go back to where we started with this. I want to first of all say thank you, Giovanni, and thank you, Ben, for giving me the trust in this part. I wasn't, when I met Ben, I was working on Bones on the set, and it was so lucky that he told me I want to introduce you to Giovanni, and we sit down where he's given me, actually, it's so funny. My brother here, he gave me his role, but I didn't do Green Zone yet. So he told me, just read it and see what you think. So I read it, I was like, wow, can we have some more lines?
Every actor asks the same question. More lines?
More lines, hey, what can I say? But what happened is that suddenly it disappeared, and when each person went his own way, I went up to go for a whole year to shoot the Green Zone all over the world over there. And when I came back, for my luck, Giovanni called me and he told me, listen, I have a great role for you in the same movie. I was like, Algerian, oh wow, okay. Can you send me? He told me, trust me, it's going to be a great part for you, and it's great. I was like, okay, Giovanni, let me tell you something. Ben is an nerd, you're a nerd, I'm in it. So I went ahead and I get the sides, and suddenly I'm looking at the side and I have all this monologue. By the way, I'm dyslexic, so I need to say, for all the dyslexic people in the house out there, I support you because it takes a lot of us to put together and memorize our lines. So here goes. I want to thank Ben because, and Giovanni. They gave me enough time for me to memorize my lines. So I writing them and writing them and writing them like around 1,000 times each line. But when I get them in my head, I went to Giovanni. I told him, I beg you, Giovanni, please tell me one thing. You are not going to change a single word in this line. Because dyslexic people, we got stuck here and it stays. He told me, don't worry about it. But to make the story short, real fast, I just want to say, I wish I have the chance for me to go to Algeria. Because...
He's supposed to go, he backed out last minute. I got his lines.
He got my line, the best line of the whole movie. But I want to say that by God's help, I would love to see this film going to the Algerian Film Festival. I think it's in Mohran, right?
Yeah.
There is a big, huge film festival, and I will never chicken out again because when I saw this footage that they have, and they told me the story, what they did to get this footage, it's like I'm going like, I regret it till this day, but I tell you something. To make my story short real fast, too long. I want to say thank you for everybody for for here and supporting us. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Tara Walt, and I played the role of Sarah. And this really has been quite the journey. When you first approached me with it, I read it, and it really stuck out to me because no matter what color your skin, language you speak, religion you believe in, you know, we're all the same and we all speak the same language, and that's humanity. And it really just, you know, I really wanted to spread this word. And it has been quite the journey, but an amazing one at that. So thank you for having me aboard. I really enjoyed the whole process.
Hi, my name is Daryl Phillip, and I played the charming gentleman at the Redneck Bar. I believe, as the story goes, there was another man cast to play my part, and he wasn't able to do it at the last minute. So I was appearing in a play for an African-American theater company, and Giovanni called my director and said, "Do you know any rednecks?" That's how I got the part. So, funny, is that it? Anyway, but I'm very honored to be part of such a beautiful and powerful film, and I would do anything for Giovanni. He's a terrific person and talented artist, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this. Thank you.
My name is Alexandra Anthony. I just got married. And I was the bitchy blonde, and I'm just honored to be a part of this awesome creative cast. Giovanni is a genius, and it's really inspiring just to be on set and see what's happening, and then to see shit blowing up on the screen. Like, he did amazing, amazing things, and everyone's a saint and a gem. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharon Ferguson. And I play Sister. My character was really interesting because I just thought it was really interesting to be a female terrorist. Like, what gets you there as a woman in the Middle East to be a terrorist, carrying a gun, and you're like, gotta kill some people? So for me, what I did was I read a lot of really books that I would not ever read, because I like romantic comedies and that stuff. But I was reading like all these books about like female genital mutilation and the Lost Boys of the Sudan. Some crazy, crazy books. And it kind of got my head wrapped around this character to be a little bit tough and mean. And my favorite scene is taking the gun apart and putting it back together. I love that. Thank you, Jay Razor. He's not in the house today, but he taught me that in like 5 minutes. And I was like,
Jamie Trent.
And who is in the house? Who is in the house? Yes, thank you so much. Jamie, you are here. Where are you? Anyways, right now, because I never get a chance to really do it, I want to thank Giovanni, because This is a crazy labor of love. Here's a person that works like a 16-hour day doing like the day job, and then he comes home and he has these lengthy conversations with Ben, like, what are we gonna do? And he's on the phone with Tony and everybody else talking about the characters. So, I mean, I really wanna give it up for Giovanni because he is really putting his heart and soul into it. And I couldn't possibly have a bunch of fun in Miami without doing that. So, and thank you for offering me and giving me a chance to play a character that, I don't know, mainstream Hollywood, they're sort of not into right now, but they better get into it, because I don't know. Just kidding. Hi, my name is Shara Ferguson. I'm Candice Coke.
I mean, to prepare for a role like this, I think when you read a script, Lana plays a lot of the drama in the film. I mean, everyone has drama, but the emotional drama. And, you know, you shoot films out of sequence, so I think the most important thing for me was to be open and present in each moment because, you know, it has to make the story has to flow. So it was just being prepared and ready to work with Giovanni and, you know, he has to direct the actor, and I think that's the most important thing for us is to be open and to listen and be there with your scene partner. So that's what I did, and it was an awesome experience. I'm glad I haven't gotten one last call, just one more ADR, one more ADR, just like, I swear, like, but it's been great, and everybody's been amazing on this project. Everyone's worked really hard, and this is the first time I got to see it today, so it's amazing. Thank you for having me. Thank you everybody for being a part of the cast, and pass it along.
Alicia Mitchell, and I played the role of Kelly. What was so great about this role was that Giovanni allowed me to bring my own essence to this character and kind of do what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do as being an escort, which are a lot of available roles for females, I wanted to bring her as being a really strong, tough, business-minded woman. And you know, also, for the film itself, it was kind of like Lana's, you know, devil on the side, convincing her to, you know, like, make your way, right? Everybody's got to hustle in LA. But other than that, it was a really great opportunity, and I'm very honored. Thank you, Giovanni and Ben, for allowing me to partake in this wonderful film.
That's all you got. Sorry. Let's take
Hi, my name is Kaleem Ansari. I played the FBI agent in one of the final scenes, and I kind of came to this movie in a pretty much different way than everybody else. I'm actually a Wall Streeter. I'm from New York, and I was approached by a group affiliated with Giovanni to invest in the movie. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, this is interesting, and I thought, you know what, this is great, but I don't want to perpetuate a stereotype. I'm also a Muslim from Pakistan, and I didn't want to further perpetuate any stereotypes or contribute or finance anything like that. And they assured me that it wasn't that type of a movie, which obviously everybody can see. It covered the subject matter from so many different angles. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I really love the arts. I'm an actor at heart. I want to be a part of it, and I want to thank you for, you know, being charitable and giving me a part in the movie. Besides the stereotype.
Where's the money?
And then I also told Giovanni, you know, I want something interesting. Again, I don't want to be a part of a stereotype. And when he told me he was an FBI agent, I thought, all right, great, I'm not going to be a terrorist. Then I thought about it later and I said, oh, I forgot to tell him about the other stereotype, about like an IT guy from India or something. I didn't want to be a computer guy or anything like that. So I was thrilled when he told me I get to carry a badge and a gun and everything. And so that was exciting. But I gotta say, as a person from a different profession, I really have a great appreciation now for the process in watching how diligently everybody works, especially Giovanni. people like yourselves. I've had the good fortune of attending many different film festivals as being a part of this project. And I've developed a great appreciation, and especially the audience, you guys. And I thank you, I applaud you for coming out and supporting the effort.
Thank you. So we have time for maybe one more question? Because we have a party after this. So
There's a question back there, but I think he left because he got...
anyone else? Okay, one question back over here.
We're actually going to stay in the festival circuit for the next 6 to 8 months because we just started like a few months ago. We've been killing it. We've been in like 7 festivals so far, and we have offers for like another 5 slated for the next 2 months. So as an independent film, since we don't have $20 million to throw into advertising, our advertising is the festival circuit. So we'll stay in the festival circuit. When we're done with the circuit, then we'll start taking bids from different distributors, probably sometime in the winter time. But until then, if there are any distributors in the house, give me a card and I'll hold on to it, and I'll give you a call in 6 months. Thank you.
We do have a Facebook.
Take charge. So our party, once again, is at Teroni, which is at 8th and Broadway. It's at 9th and Broadway. And so please join us. If you're here, you're invited to the party. So see you over there.